Strap in for the world's fastest half hour. You're on the Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. And brought to you by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Herbert and Ralph Shaheen.
No racing, no wheel stands, no parachutes, no problem. The stars of the NHRA Mellow Yellow Championship were off this weekend. But we're not. Clay Millican, who sits second in the Top Fuel points, joins us, as well as Texas Motorplex track president Billy Meyer, to talk about the next round in the countdown. Hi everybody, welcome to MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ralph Shaheen, alongside my good buddy Doug Herbert, ready to go. An off weekend, plenty to talk about, and we're going to start right away on our Racing Electronics hotline for guests with Clay Millican, the man who is second in the points, joining us right now. Clay, great to have you with us. How'd you entertain yourself with an off weekend?
Well, I tell you what I did, and I can tell you what I'm doing right now. I am sitting in the middle of the fairway, number 2 at Forest Hill with my so-called golf instructor, Tom Crane, and I'm hitting golf balls. And my instructor, I'm just going to go and throw this out there, has swung at it 3 times, and he just passed my ball after my drive.
Oh, he's bragging already.
I guess he taught you pretty well then, huh?
Well, apparently so far, that's for sure. But, man, racing-wise, I tell you what, we're just getting ready to go. I mean, you know, it is crazy. You would think a guy that has been to the semifinals and a runner-up would be, like, leading the countdown. But instead, I'm losing points. So Stevie just keeps winning rounds and winning races. He's 2 for 2. But we're going to Texas, which is his home, and we're going to try to put a stop to it. That's for sure.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Well, I just got to hope that maybe he stumbles first round, because I'm certainly not planning on trying to qualify in such a way to where we race him, because I expect him to be at the top of the qualifying sheet as well as ourselves. But, you know, I hope that maybe he stumbles along the way, and if he doesn't, I hope that I can actually beat him when we race him. I mean, he has had my number, but it's been some good racing. I mean, I lost to him by 1,000th at Reading in the semifinals, and he outrun us a few hundredths at St. Louis, you know, week 4 last. And, man, they have really got that thing tuned up. You know, they felt like they kind of gave away a championship last year, and they certainly are prepared this year. But I got to tell you, the little team out of the Nitro Barn in Doug Stringer's backyard is giving them all they want, and that includes all the big dogs. I mean, you guys know we're not a huge team. We don't have a whole ton of parts, and we certainly don't have a machine shop back in our place. But, man, we got a good group of guys, and everybody at Parts Plus and Strut Masters they're there with us and doing everything they can do. I like our chances. I really do.
Clay, with wins in Topeka and Chicago, I mean, you guys have really hit it hard this year. Number 1 qualifier a bunch of times, low ET, top speed. David Grubnick's been doing a great job turning the knobs on that car and making it go down the track and running quick and running fast. You've been doing a great job doing your part in the starting line. And it's like, man, you know, Steve Torrance is just a little bit better here and a little bit better there. Like you said, any other time, you'd be at the top of the heap. What's it going to take to beat him on that head-to-head when you race him head-to-head when you got to beat him?
Man, I don't really know. I mean, you know, qualifying in St. Louis was just absolute incredible. The weather was good, and it was a heavyweight slugfest between the two teams. We went out there and gathered up a bunch of bonus points during qualifying on Friday, and then they come back and kind of knocked us back a spot on Saturday. And, you know, at Reading, we collected basically all the qualifying bonus points, and they come loaded for bear at St. Louis, and we just, you know, they got us. They outran us. You know, we qualified number 2. They qualified number 1. And I tell you what, I mean, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. You know, kind of the kick on our team has been, you know, we run great in qualifying, run great first round, and lose second round. Well, Grubby has really got a handle on that. It is went down the track, and please don't hold me to this number, but we went down the racetrack under full power, 7 consecutive runs in Reading, and 8 consecutive runs at St. Louis. So, yeah, you can't hold me to that. It was 15 runs in a row. This thing has been down the track under power. So consistency seems to be coming our way, and the performance is definitely there. You know, I mean, I don't know if we need to really do anything, Doug, to be honest with you. You know, the car's running so good that, you know, sometimes you don't want to do something that you haven't done. And right now, the way the car's going down the racetrack, I really do like our chances. I just don't know that anybody can beat us that many runs in a row the way Torrance has. I hope it don't continue.
Clay, what was the problem with the second round? Why were you guys struggling with consistency there?
I don't really know. I do not get in the middle of tuning one of these things. I can put one of these cars together front to back, and it will start and run, but I do not get involved in the tuning part of it. I'm not smart enough. I know that, and I spend my time out there talking and signing autographs because I can't do that. But, Grubby really did just slowly but surely has gotten a handle on consistency, and thank goodness it showed up at the exact right time, which is this countdown. But the car is incredible right now, and it's not hurting parts, which is a good thing. And, I don't really know what he found, and probably truth is, if I did know, I probably wouldn't tell you.
Hey, Clay, you and I have talked about it before. The success that you guys have had is really pretty incredible, considering, as we've discussed, I mean, you don't have 10 engines in the trailer like ready to go into the, in between the frame rails. Grubnick has been running that car on a pretty tight budget and, I mean, doing an unbelievable job, especially considering that standpoint where the thing goes down the track. It's not breaking parts. Other people are putting crankshafts in every 2 or 3 runs, and you guys are getting the most out of everything. So in addition to running good, man, he's making the most of everything that he has.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, because we do not have the inventory to just put it on kill and not worry about it. We just can't do that. And he has that pressure of making sure that the thing lives, but yet, it's the quickest car in the world right now. That's what's crazy about it. And who knows, maybe sometimes that puts you in a frame of mind that you've got to make the motor run on 8 cylinders and not hurt bearings and not hurt the crankshaft, and the thing lives. I mean, but I know it puts a lot of extra strain on him worrying about it. And to be honest, it makes me drive a little bit different when needed. You understand that. I mean, in qualifying, let's say, it spins just a little bit, and maybe in another situation, you might give it a quick pedal and see how it hooks back up and what it'll run. But, in the situation we're in, if I feel it get loose during qualifying, I will shut it off. And to take that one step further, we've done this during the year, that during eliminations, if we know we have a round one or two things usually happens. I mean, Grubby will hit the safety device, or they'll yell at me on the radio, and I'll click it off just a touch early. Because we know running those things, 330 mile an hour out the back door, a lot of times when you step off the throttle, that's when they'll chunk the rods out. So if you can shut it off just a touch early, you might save yourself, and we have done that during the year. Will that happen during the countdown? Probably not, but it has happened during the year just to conserve parts.
Is that a difficult situation for you, Clay, or being put in that position as a driver? Is that something that is easy for you to relate to and adjust to?
To be honest with you, it's pretty easy. To steal a line from Jim Head, I'm like a trained monkey, so I do what I'm told to do. And, that's another thing that maybe where I might be in a little bit of different spot than some of the hired drivers out here. I have been the guy, I've never owned the stuff, but at one point for years and years when the team was located here in Drummond's, I was the guy that paid the bills. It wasn't my money, but I paid the bills, and I saw how much comes in and out and how much it takes to actually do it. So I do feel like my right foot is attached to, Doug Stringer's wallet, and I try to be careful with that.
Well, that's always a good thing. That was my foot was always connected to my wallet, So having you with that mentality, I know Doug Stringer appreciates that a lot, and that's probably what's gotten you to the point where you are. Hey, one of the things that I know you've been doing a whole lot of lately is going around visiting a lot of schools and promoting the upcoming brakes classes over there in Memphis, in your hometown, on October 2021. So I'll look forward to seeing you that. And I think we've got the classes about filled up, man. You've been doing a crazy job.
Man, I have really had a lot of fun. I mean, I visited some different schools than what I have in the past, which is always good. I got an email from Jane Johns this morning. You're right. The classes are really filling up, and the people that are waiting last minute may wait too long if they don't hurry up and get their kids signed up. But it has been a lot of fun. And I tell you what else I've done this year is I've had a lot of fun getting, famous people, so to speak, people that you and I know, Doug, doing videos and posting them online. I mean, we had David Freiberger, who has got a massive following on social media. He's former editor of Hot Rod Magazine and star of Roadkill. We've had Dennis Anderson of Gravedigger. Certainly have had a lot of racers. One of my favorite, though, was certainly Alan Johnson. I mean, Alan Johnson's been such a big part of, having the brakes classes here at home for me. I mean, and I take a lot of pride in that we have those things full, and I really do enjoy everything about it. And I enjoy doing the classes. I tell you what, Doug, what you do is absolutely unbelievable. You make these classes happen all over the country. And I do one once a year, and it's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Well, you put a lot of work into yours, and
Yeah.
great job. Yeah.
Yeah, and we really appreciate you being a part of that too. Final question for you, Clay. As we get ready for the next round, what can we look forward to from you as we roll into Texas? What are you thinking about?
To be honest with you, I've been just really trying to think about, how I handle the car, how you stage the car, how you control the starting line, all those things that a driver really does. And a lot of people that haven't driven or don't really study the sport may not even catch a lot of the little things. I mean, Doug, there's guys that have tendencies, and when the time's right, you try to exploit some of those tendencies, and that makes it fun. When it's this time of year, it's crunch time, this really makes me enjoy, the countdown, because every single run makes a difference. And, man, I just want to do a good job because the team's certainly giving me a good race car.
Well, Clay, only 70 points out of the lead going into this final stretch, man. Good luck at the races. Clay Millican, driver of the Parts Plus, great clips. Uno, Top Fuel Dragster with Stringer Performance.
Yeah, Clay, thanks for joining us here today on our Racing Electronics Hotline, and best of luck this weekend.
Guys, thank you so much. I always enjoy being on the show, and look forward to seeing you guys in, 2 weeks? I'll see you guys. Look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Okay, buddy. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks,
hey, you may not be a professional race car driver, but AAA can still help you and your own car out on the track with tools to help you win every stage of car ownership. Visit AAA.com. We'll be right back for more Straight Line.
When it comes to safety, nothing is more important than your vehicle's brakes. If it's hard to stop or you hear squealing or grinding noises during braking, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You'll find the brake parts you need from trusted brands like Brake Best and Brake Best Select at everyday low prices. Play it safe with brakes from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com, that's blue like the color blue. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, and since they're chewable, they can work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when using our special promo code RACING. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUEChew.com, promo code RACING to try it free. Blue Chew, it's the better, cheaper, faster choice.
Welcome back to the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Ralph Shaheen and Doug Herbert.
Welcome back here on the Straight Line, getting ready to move our way into the second round of our show here. And we've got another guest joining us, as all our guests do here on Straight Line, coming to you via the Racing Electronics Hotline this weekend. The AAA Texas Fall Nationals ready to go at the Texas Motorplex. And joining us now on the hotline is the man that runs the Texas Motorplex, Billy Meyer. Billy, great to have you with us.
How you doing, guys? Great to have you.
Hey, Billy, everybody's excited, looking forward to coming back down there to the Texas Motorplex. And, it's been a little while since I've seen you race a funny car, but not only do you own and have started that Texas Motorplex from scratch, but you're pretty good funny car racer for a long time, too.
Yeah, that was my first life. Actually, probably my first 4 lives.
Billy, as you look at what it takes to put on an event, this is the type of thing that a lot of fans don't understand. how much work really goes into prepping a facility for an NHRA national event. How far out do you and your team start working on getting your facility ready for this event?
About 364 days. Yeah. It's what's really funny is people. You're right. A lot of people don't understand it. Because we have events every week. It's very similar to a PGA Tour event. The golf course is open, for the members all year and for people to play. But when it's time for a PGA event to get set up, they're in there 6 months early. They're changing sand traps, they're changing green complexes. They're putting stands in. And it's just media centers and same thing with the drag racing. It's even though we're there and operational and we have good sized events and televised events, it's just not the comparison when you bring that many people in for that many days. And so it's just we have a days out list program that everybody has, and it's automated, and so everybody we know when to order armbands, know when to order this, know when to order that, and so it's somewhat automated in a sense for the daily tasks because we've been doing it for 32 years. But it's obviously it takes a lot of people to do it.
Hey, Billy, when you opened that track in 1986, there was a lot of new technology with the, that constant pour concrete and the suites and all the different things. And then every year I go back there, or that I've been back there for, 30 years almost, there's always improvements and changes that happen every single year. Tell us a little bit about when you opened the track and how you came up with some of the ideas with that and what it takes to kind of be the super track of the country, which is what you were when that place opened.
Yeah, there's no question it changed the sport considerably from that standpoint as far as facilities go. But it was a real simple story. I obviously I had a lot of sponsors in my life, with Hawaiian Tropic and the first Skoal car and Miller Beer and 7-Eleven and Chief Auto Parts and but when you go to different events. When in 1981, when I signed a deal with Skoal and with Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham and me, they had the NASCAR team, I had the drag race team. I go to Daytona with them, and they're up there having champagne and caviar, and they're in suites. And then Lou Bantle and his wife are about in their 60s at the time, the chairman of the board. They fly in a G3 into Englishtown, New Jersey, and no bathrooms, no suites. It's 104 degrees, July 1st. They never came back. Hal Needham's wife came to the first race of the year, which I won that year in '81 at Pomona. She gets out of her Rolls Royce in a mink coat, and she goes to start line. So he does a burnout and ruins the mink coat. It's no suites and no signage for sponsors. Not really as Doug knows, not the safest racetracks in the world. And so it kind of all just came together, like I wanted a place for the spectators and the sponsors and the racers that was going to be, as good as we could get it. So we're not playing in high school stadiums when we're competing with, the Cowboys.
So, Billy, you obviously had the vision, but how did you make it happen? That's not an easy task to turn that dream into a reality.
I had a guy that I knew real well that became the project manager for me, and he was head of all real estate development and real estate teaching at Baylor, and he had done some apartment complexes and stuff for my brother, and he was kind of a mad scientist and a smart guy and didn't mind working 7 days a week, and when you put all that in there, and the fact that back then I worked, a couple days a week. I never even went home. I just worked, straight through 24 hours and went home the next night. And so I was a workaholic. So you put all that stuff together and luckily had the financing. And so it became a reality.
Hey, Billy, this weekend, the big race coming up, but you've also got a fan fest on Thursday, on October 4th, downtown Ennis. You kind of bring a lot into the community down there. Tell us a little bit about that and what fans can expect that are going to be coming to the races this weekend.
Yeah, obviously, it's a 32nd, 33rd event, and it's been, obviously we're blessed to have AAA there, and all those different years, we've tried different things. Remember, we used to have a big event down at the West End in downtown Dallas years and years ago, trying to get people in Dallas to understand it. But then after a period of years, we decided that it was as much as we do in Ennis, as much as they do for us, that we need to do a partnership thing and probably promote the city there as well as anything else. So we moved the Fan Fest to the city, in which we have the racetrack. And so it is Thursday, and a bunch of the teams are there. And the fun thing about it is, obviously, you can get a lot of autographs that way, and they're not, going to blow you off because they're trying to get in a car to go run, or they're, working on a car. And so it's a relaxed atmosphere, and it's a good time for people to really get a good look. And most of them a lot of them are their show cars, so that, it's easier. They don't mind if you touch them and things like that versus the regular race cars. And so it really works good. But, the Friday and Saturday pro qualifying, and this year, live TV, 5 hours on Sunday, it's going to be pretty spectacular this year. And obviously it makes it where preparation is that much more important, because you can't make any mistakes, as y'all know, when it's live. And so it'll be a fun weekend. But we're excited about it. We have the draw auction again this year. We have a band on Friday night as soon as the racing's over. And so, you just every year kind of add something to it just to make it where the people feel like there's something a little bit different every year.
Billy, that's a great promotion, and I'm sure the fans are going to have a great time with it. It's something Doug and I have been talking a lot about. Local racetrack promoters have to be like small league baseball team promoters, where you really have to reach out and find ways of drawing fans in. And it's the same thing for the big tracks these days as well. Do you have a particular memory of a promotion you saw maybe when you were driving, or one you've done yourself that gave you a good chuckle, or you thought, boy, that's really cool?
Yeah, but I don't think I could use those events that were really cool back then. I don't think it'd be good to try to replace the mud pit at Brainerd, but it is over the years, you do have to pay a lot of attention. Our head person, general manager Andy Carter, is extremely talented at being able to find good events and stuff. And the weekend after our national event, the event we'll have there, which is a Street Outlaws race, it'll be 80% the size of our national event.
Wow.
And luckily in that kind of category, you have everything already there, and so it makes that event a whole lot easier because everything's already in place. You're ready for that big of a crowd, and the concessions and all your food supplies and everything are ready for that big of a deal. So, but yeah, you do have to have different events. Our Super Chevy event is quite an event, that we have in the spring, and so you just kind of got to come up with different ideas and just keep trying.
Hey, Billy, with your racing, all the times going to the races with your funny car, I know you're one of maybe the first to have a big rig at the races. Tell us, what's your most memorable racing experience or memorable racing against somebody or a favorite opponent? You got some little funny story you could share with us?
I have a lot of funny stories. I don't have a lot I can really share live, but, there are all so many different instances. Back from the match racing days, with the LA Hooker funny car guys and those, that we traveled with, there's some hilarious stories. And then there's, and then when you get to the racing, a couple times when I got hurt pretty good. And I know when I got burned really bad in Montreal, Canada, and we were like third in the points and only a few hundred points out of the lead. And Norman Parra, that owned Baton Rouge, he called me, and I'm laying in the burn center in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and he talks me into borrowing a car and actually racing that weekend, because how much it could help his event. Of course, he didn't care about me or anything, but so Deist made a set of instead of gloves because I had my hands were wrapped for 9 months with the 3rd-degree burns, and so I wore mittens, kind of like it'd be a kitchen mitt, that you cook with. And I went down and drove the Houston Hustler funny car that weekend, and that was pretty interesting doing that just 5 days later. But there's a lot of good stories. I loved the years when we had the nitrous oxide. Nobody else did except Gary Beck, and we worked together as partners on that project, and that was fun because we'd never hurt parts that year and went a lot faster than most people did, and that was a pretty cool year.
That's all great stuff. Well, listen, we really appreciate you joining us here on the Straight Line. Billy Meyer, like all of our guests, come to you via the Racing Electronics Hotline. And Billy, of course, if we're going to have a top flight promoter on the show, we got to give you a chance to promote your event coming up this weekend. So where do the fans go to get the tickets if there's any left?
Well, obviously some of the better ones are sold out, possibly. But TexasMotorplex.com is absolutely the place to go, or call 1-800-MOTORPLEX. And so we have online ticketing. You can buy them, actually go online and do it all yourself, or you can just do it, over the phone with our people at 1-800-MOTORPLEX. So it's obviously it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. Friday and Saturday with the pros, 2 qualifying sessions each, and then the Sunday event. There's plenty of time if you only come one day, or like a lot of people do at a golf tournament, they like to go for multiple days because there's a lot of difference. Same as the PGA Tour, when there's 156 guys the first 2 days, they see a lot more play, and then you get down to only the 70 people on the weekend. Same as drag racing. There's all the teams there on Friday and Saturday, and then you're down to the final 16 in every category on Sunday. So some people like to see more runs, and some people want pure competition to see who the winner is. So pretty much a little bit for everybody.
Well, we look forward to it. The AAA Texas NHRA Fall Nationals, the Texas Motorplex. Thanks for joining us, Billy.
Okay, guys, have a great time.
Okay, we'll be right back for more Straight Line after this.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at premier National Series events, and the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. Race fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
A rough-running engine could be suffering from buildup of fuel and oil deposits. Smooth out a rough engine, restore power, and improve fuel economy with Seafoam Motor Treatment. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and purchase 2 bottles of Seafoam Motor Treatment and get one free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're staged for another run on the Straight Line. Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Once again, here's Doug and Ralph.
Racing Electronics provides the best communication equipment and technology to professional teams and drivers. And that very same technology is available in the products they offer race fans. Visit racingelectronics.com to learn more. Well, welcome back here to the Straight Line as we get into our next segment here. And Doug, I think it's been a bit of an interesting weekend now, having a weekend off. How are these guys going to get focused for the next event?
Well, they're going down into these final 4 races and really getting ready to, go all out. I mean, they've got to pull out all the stops. On the other hand, I think that some of them probably enjoying a little bit of time off. Most of the Antron Brown goes maybe to the races with his kids, and Clay's out playing golf. I think people are probably getting a little bit relaxed so they can get focused and get in the zone when it comes down to, going to Dallas this week and coming to Charlotte in a couple weeks. finishing the year off at Vegas and Pomona. I think it's more probably getting rested up and getting ready to hit it really hard these last few races.
Some teams in professional sports perform well the weekend after a quote-unquote bye. Other teams really struggle to find their groove. How were you?
You know, I think my team and myself, I always did better racing every week. I liked going racing every week, and then I don't know, I think I was born in the wrong era. I should have been born 20 years before. I liked going match racing. You know, we'd go match racing on a Friday night, match racing on a Saturday night if there was no racing happening. So I like staying busy and just going racing all the time. That weekend off for me kind of it was too much of a break. I liked hitting it all the time. So that I guess that answered the question. I like hitting it every week, every day, just staying after it.
Well, and not all of the drivers are they're off, but some are still working. I mean, Ron Capps has been over in Hawaii. If you follow him on social media, he's been working with the folks over there in Napa, taking advantage of not having to go to the races to take care of some marketing opportunities. So for some of the drivers, they're still busy. They're just not going down the strip.
Yeah, maybe not the track. Taking care of your sponsors is what it really takes right nowadays.
Yeah.
The cost to run one of these cars, multi-million dollars. You've got to make sure you've got your marketing support. Back in my Snap-on days, I would go into the races a lot of times a couple days early or off weekends and ride around on a tool truck. You know, we'd go in and sell somebody a wrench set on an off weekend, and that's kind of cool. Same thing as Caps is doing. I'm sure the same thing as Antron Brown and many of the other guys do on their weekends off. They're out working for the sponsors, making sure their commitment is strong and staying with their teams.
Yeah, no rest, right?
Right.
Okay, time for red light, green light for you and I, and we've been talking a little bit about our favorite promotions that we've seen from some of the different promoters around the country in drag racing. I think they're some of the most creative out there. We heard Billy Meyer talking about laughingly some of the ones he can't talk about, right?
Right.
But some of the things that he saw that he's always enjoyed. What's one that you liked? Maybe a promoter that you got a kick out of when you were a driver, or as a kid just going to the track?
Man, as a kid going to the track, I would say it would be OCIR. I grew up in Southern California, so Orange County International Raceway.
Yeah.
It was Steve Evans and,
God.
funny cars,
Yeah.
Friday, Sunday, and all this stuff. And that was pretty cool. And the fox hunt stuff. I remember being a 16-year-old kid at Orange County International Raceway, and they had the fox hunt, and it was right next to El Toro Marine Base. So if you weren't a Marine or a Hells Angel, you better get out of there, because it was like Marines and Hells Angels started having problems, and I was like, here I'm a 15, 16-year-old kid, like, oh boy,
Yeah.
I need to get out of here. This is not where I need to be. If you were in a Marine or Hells Angel, get out of there. And the Vinnie Knapp, the Englishtown family up there, and they're Benny the Bomb and Berserko Bob.
Berserko Bob.
Yeah, I mean, just all the fun stuff that he did to make a Wednesday night event a huge deal. They packed 30,000 people in there on a Wednesday night. Like that was cool. And match race Shirley Muldowney, or it was just a big deal. I think Vinnie Knapp had really a good knack for figuring out a show, how to put on a show. Let's put on a great show, entertain these people in 4 or 5 hours, and they can go home.
For me, it was Sacramento Raceway growing up as a kid, and this is where my green light for this stuff comes in. And I remember Steve Evans, as you talked about, who I worked with all those years at T&M back in the day, doing all the drag racing stuff. He used to do all the commercials, the Be There commercials like you're talking about. And the big thing for us was the Governor's Cup, because we lived right there in Sacramento, the state capital of California. They would have the Governor's Cup Funny Car Nationals. I'll never forget this one commercial. It would be like, Perdome and McEwen and Ed the Ace and Gene Snow would all come in, right? Big match race type deal. And Steve did a commercial one time and went, coming up this Saturday night, the 26th annual Governor's Cup Funny Car Nationals. For the 26th year in a row, the governor won't be there. And I just thought that was classic. I was there. Governor never showed up. Stay with us. We're going to come right back. A little bit more straight line after this. Hey, race fans, it's Ralph Shaheen. And like you, I have a huge passion for racing. With the most in-depth features on racers, series, and events, no one covers racing better than America's original motorsports publication, Speed Sport. Get your subscription to Speed Sport magazine today at speedsport.com.
NHRA drag racer Doug Herbert here to talk about safe driving. In early 2008, my 2 sons were killed in a car accident that was caused by speed and inexperience. After the accident, I learned that over 6,000 teenagers each year are killed in car accidents, so I formed a nonprofit organization called Brakes. Brakes stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. Please visit our website at putonthebrakes.org to learn more about responsible driving and what you can do to keep our roads safe.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $28.95 and get a $10 O'Reilly gift card by mail. Protect your engine from sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Ralph and Doug.
It's been a busy show here this afternoon with Billy Meyer and Clay Millican joining us in our red light, green light, talking about fun racing promotions. Billy Meyer, of course, promoting one of the biggest events of the year as we get ready to go to the Texas Motorplex. What do you think we can expect from the racing this coming weekend?
You know, a lot depends on weather, but with that Texas Motorplex, you know, just the traction that you have on that track, it's typically one of the best performance races of the year. I would say expect good performances. Everybody always has something fun. That draw action that Billy talked about is always a fun thing. Raises a lot of money for the Drag Racing Association of Women. Neat event. One year, one of my fun things there, I went and they were auctioning off a Buster Couch hat, and I was bidding against somebody, and I had my son James there, and we were bidding on this starter's hat. Clay Millican was the guy bidding against me, you know. So it was right after I burned down the starting line and all that stuff. So pretty neat. Great event. Don't miss. If you're anywhere near Texas Motorplex this week, don't miss this event down there.
Do you think this is a type of track that could really shake up the points, or one that would allow somebody to stretch a gap?
It could go either way. You just never know. I mean, as strong as Steve Torrance is, as strong as, you know, Height's been in the funny cars, you know, the Coletta team, you just never know. I'd say the points leaders are in control. They go in there, they have to go strong this week. And if they struggle first round, then all of a sudden, guess what? Clay's 3.5 rounds goes down to 1 round, or he could even grab the points lead. I think the leaders have to focus.
Well, it's going to be fun. Of course, we'll be back here next week to talk all about it. We'll have a couple more guests on board as we work our way through it. Thanks for joining us here on MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. So Doug Herbert, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Enjoy the races.